last time I played a Vikings game on a console was Vikings Battle of Asgard, a quality action title from Sega, but it's fair to say that Calypso Media's Vikings Wolves of Midgard is far removed from this, being more Diablo-like than anything else. Wolves of Midgard is certainly a decent game, and quite deep too, offering all manner of ways to customise your character's abilities based on the god you choose to worship at the beginning of the game. While the story is pretty throwaway, and mainly just an excuse for a fight, the combat makes up for this, seeing you take on all manner of enemies, from human to trolls, goblins, wolves, crows and more, each of which seem to grow in number as the game goes on. The game starts off pretty basic, introducing you to your village which is under attack, and once you manage to get things under control, it's from here you'll plan all your missions, generally given to you by various NPCs after completing the previous one. Before all of that though, you'll choose between 5 different Norse deities, each offering a different fighting style and gifts which you can unlock as the game progresses. Each offer different ways to play, with 4 allowing you to focus on two-handed weapons and strength, while following Loki sees you go for dual weapons and speed. As with any RPG, you can mix this up with a range of magical weapons, armour and equipment which you'll find throughout your journey, as well as being able to make your own armour and weapons using any resources you find, or even your own magical items thanks to runes. Combat really is where it's at in Wolves of Midgard, allowing you to bash down the enemy with a huge amount of combos, making use of the weapons and skills you have at your disposal, and leaving enemy blood in your wake. This all sets you up for more challenging boss battles, which are all mixed up, meaning that you have to find different ways to win the day. Since you love taking down the enemies and likely forget about your surroundings, the developer has added in a few environmental challenges. For instance, exposure to cold can kill you, meaning you'll have to find a nearby campfire to stay alive. You also need to make sure that you activate checkpoints, as on harder difficulty levels, your character will likely be restarting from these on more than one occasion. As mentioned, a lot of your time will be spent in your village, so gathering materials such as wood, gold and iron will allow you to upgrade buildings and make weapons, make equipment and armour. The more you upgrade your village, the more resources you will have to access to, allowing you to grow stronger and take care of those pesky enemies even faster. When it comes to presentation, Wolves of Midgard is slightly disappointing, not feeling quite as polished as perhaps it could have been. It does feel quite low budget in places, but to be fair it probably is, especially when compared to the likes of Diablo 3. This lack of detail is especially noticeable when it comes to side quests, which feel a little half-baked in terms of the thought which has gone into them, while the same can also be said of the multiplayer mode, which is limited to online co-op, with local play being a strange omission, especially since this type of game seems perfect for this style of gameplay. Overall, Wolves of Midgard is a fun RPG with some interesting elements. The combat is enjoyable and challenging, and the gameplay runs fairly smoothly. If it was a little more polished and some more thought had gone into storytelling, then it would most certainly be better for it. But as it is, Vikings Wolves of Midgard is still a more than decent game.